I don't think he said anything like Gerard Mayo, burn some cash or anything. I guarantee we're going to win more games than next year.
No, it's like, you like that answer? I kind of like most answers. Like, there's not one that sticks out to you. We're like, oh, what the hell?
Well, I like that. It's like average players come in, they want a free meal, and they want to collect a check. Good players come in, and they want to be coached, aggressively, coached hard. And the really great ones, they say, what can I do to improve?
Yeah.
They listen, they take it to heart, they go out there and do it. And I think that's a good answer, and I thought Chris Curtis had a good analogy to listening to Vrabel. It's like he's a steady hand compared to Mayo, where Mayo would say a few entertaining things, especially early on before the losses started piling up, burn some cash, and, put me on the record. I'm going to win more than 4 games next year.
Yeah.
And he threw all those things out there. I mean, Vrabel's been through, and this is scoring one for people who say he understands the job. It's not new to him. And, Curtis made the reference, it's like a pilot dealing with a little turbulence. It's like you freak out on the plane because who wants to feel turbulence? But the pilot's been through it 8 million times.
Yeah.
That's Vrabel. You're not going to throw him any curveballs. You're not going to shake him up.
Can't imagine he walks too many things back the next day.
No, Mayo got shaken up every interview he did.
Yeah,
and
every single one of them.
I thought that was, again, a good answer. Now, he's got to actually go get wins.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got to translate it, but I thought that sort of stuff checked out, and he didn't step in it at all.
Yeah, and this isn't revisionist history on Mayo, because I think when we heard his first interview with Greg's show, we were, like, excited. I admittedly was excited. I'm like, they're going to burn cash.
Me too.
Like, they're going to spend money. He's saying they're going to spend money, so they're going to spend money. And he's guaranteeing more than 4 wins. We'll see. Like, I didn't think they had a lot of talent at that point, so you're like, we'll see about that. But you're like, maybe this will be a change. Maybe this will be like a 2021 free agency class. And then it wasn't. And then
he burn some cash.
But then he walked that back soon.
That was his first walk back, right? I was just going to ask that. That was
and you're
his first
like,
walk back.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, his first interview, he already got a talking to.
Yep.
He already got called to the principal's office and was like, you can't say that. You're not going to get that with Vrabel. And so that's an easy positive one. Another one I really liked was...
Hang on, real quick. We're not going to get that from Vrabel? Vrabel just said Elliot Wolf didn't have all the research. You don't think he's going to get a talking to on that one?
Oh, I mean walkbacks. I meant walkbacks.
Oh,
maybe they're like, hey, can you ease up on it? But I don't think he's going to come on the next time he's on Greg's show and be like,
hey, I said that.
Yeah, that wasn't fair to.
Right.
No, he'll just keep pushing forward.
I see what you're saying. He'll get a talking to here and there, but he's not going to walk it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's probably a little bit easier to approach Mayo than it is to Vrabel, right? Like, one of the.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah, you're like, all right, bud. You're like, knock it off. Like, you're lucky to have this job. Whereas, like, and this is the opposite, where like the Patriots are kind of lucky to have Vrabel. Last year, Mayo was, to have a head coaching job at the NFL with that lack of experience, like that was a lucky spot. Another thing I like from Vrabel, and this might be somewhat obvious to good coaches, but maybe not to all coaches, is you can't just have one coaching style for every type of player.
Yep.
Because one of the questions now is the college kids today are a much different breed of college kid than years before with NIL and just everything. Every generation's a little bit different. And I like that line about, listen, I might have to coach Wiggy different than I'd coach Greg. Greg's like, I needed to be coddled.
I need to be
It's a good
coddled.
line. It's a good line.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, you can't go through, and that's why I hate those, everybody's the same. They're not. Drake May, greater than rest of the team.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how it is. Now, you don't want to just, like, put the guy on a pedestal the whole time and all that. You still got to coach him hard. But I like that he knows there's going to be a different approach for, I don't know, a guy like A.J. Brown versus maybe somebody like David Andrews or somebody like, Christian Barmore, whatever else.
You mentioned A.J. Brown. I mean, he was prompted, but
he loves him.
He mentioned A.J. Brown by name today.
He loves him. I think he's getting him.
You think so?
That's my guy. Yeah, they're gonna trade for him. Dude's reading books on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You think he wants to be with the Eagles?
No.
No, I don't.
No, I believe. You know what? Yeah. I believe.
Yeah.
The reporting there that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown used to be best friends, and now they're not. That can't happen. Falling outs with best friends can't happen.
No, it can't. Go to Instagram. There might be a bunch of pictures of them together, proving that they're best buds.
I happen to believe the reporting.
We went to a wedding once together. There's a documented proof. Wolves don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, even though I'm the wolf in this case, and I'm very, very worried about it.
I know. So now I've lost track of what we're even talking about.
We're talking about A.J. Brown.
Yes.
I think they can get him. Would you trade the second-round pick for A.J. Brown? In a second.
Yeah.
And Vrabel would. Vrabel might also get slapped with some sort of tampering. I don't know if you can talk about the player that way, which I'm open for. I like it, but I don't know. Usually, he's on a team currently playing right now.
Talking indirectly about a player usually okay. When you start mentioning by name, not that we're trying to get anybody in trouble, but
no, not at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little slap on the wrist for that.
He did coach him,
and
he says like he's like loves them and like they still talk. So I mean, you can't prevent them from talking. I don't know. It's weird. And then we started talking off the air about Tom Brady doing the Lions game this weekend and like how that's going to go. Can he hype up Ben Johnson? I don't know. It's very strange.
No,
the whole thing.
I mean. Brady, the whole thing with Brady is a mess anyway.
That's why I don't think he's doing games next year.
Giant conflict of interest, and he probably won't be doing games. A, because he shouldn't, based on the conflict of interest, and B, because he's bad at it.
Not to go on a whole Brady tangent, but him doing the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if the Raiders haven't hired a coach yet, and there's like maybe even 2 candidates playing in that game, can he even say anything? Like, he can't meet with them. Like, how restricted is he going to be? He's probably going to be even worse than normal because he's probably going to be nervous about what he can and can't say. And then you only have like 200 million people watching or whatever.
Not to keep going on a Brady.
Go ahead.
But did you hear Mad Dog, his criticism of Brady?
No.
He says he thinks he talks too much.
Oh, I've noticed it the other way.
I think it's the complete opposite.
I feel like he lets it breathe and then some.
It's like, hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Earth to Tom.
Yeah.
You can talk here, guy.
I don't remember that.
I maybe that was the case in the Packers game this weekend, Packers-Eagles, but I think Brady needs to talk more than he talks.
Yeah.
I mean, pop me kettle when it comes to me. I talk plenty. But I think Brady needs to talk more on those broadcasts. Mm-hmm. But
that's not how you do football.
Conflict of interest there. That was the gist of what he said.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest there. And I mean, if Vrabel gets slapped, I don't think they lose a draft pick or anything.
No, nothing like that.
Vrabel might get a talking to about, hey, can you not bring up A.J. Brown by name?
But if we get him,
keep your mouth shut.
I think that's going to be that's going to be the guy.
Okay, so Elliot Wolf's name brought up a ton.
Sure did.
Josh McDaniels, he seemed very lukewarm about. How do you get the most out of Drake May? We can get into it with all your phone calls here on Jones and Keefe, 617-779-7937. Let's start it off with Sorja in Mansfield. Go ahead, Sorja.
Jones and Keefe, how are we today?
Doing great.
Really quick here. I think you have to be impressed with Mike Vrabel so far. Like everyone's been saying, he brings instant credibility, and the interview was great. You're just worried about the pieces around him, the OCDC, and I just don't understand why Elliot Wolf is in this picture at all. You look at his drafting from last year and his off season, and I just hope that the Kraft realizes that you need a demarcation, an actual GM, and not create a power vacuum that they're creating right now.
So I agree with Sorja on that, but listen to Mike Vrabel. He'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't allowed to spend in free agency, and the coaching staff didn't develop Elliott's players. I mean, that's what Vrabel said to Tom Curran about Elliot Wolf.
Because you propped him up a little bit as a shield, and you're the one that's making the players, but when you have sort of a vagueness as to who's really in charge, the number 4 pick, if they hit on it, well, they can all deserve credit. If they miss on it, who's to blame? We don't really know.
Right.
Is it Elliott? Is it this new guy? Is it
Abdul
Vrabel?
Carter is a bust.
Right.
At
who
4.
Who do you blame? We don't really know.
You can scapegoat Elliot Wolf.
I mean, I don't know. I just think I think he accepted the job. It's one thing if Vrabel had no other opportunities. I feel like he could have waited it out, maybe got the Cowboys job, maybe got the Raiders job, maybe got the Jets job. Like, I think he could have had other jobs. If this was his only job, like Mayo last year, Mayo was going to be forced to listen to whoever.
Yeah, he had no leverage.
No choice.
Yeah.
I think Vrabel's got much more of a leg to stand on, so Elliot Wolf is here for now, but I don't think it's a guaranteed long haul.
Tim in Brockton, go ahead.
So they want to bring Vrabel in to say that, the players are going to respect the coaching staff, and then the staff, if they don't, they're out of here. So I want to know, are the coaching staff out of there if they disrespect the players? Because it seems they're just bringing in a person to set a discipline and discipline the players and like a hard-o. And it just seems like he's just here worrying about catering to the coaching staff and ownership more of
Tim, I thought this was interesting from him. He referenced it this morning with Greg and yesterday in his press conference. We got to get rid of the entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
And this echoes some of what Andrew Callahan and Doug Kyde had in the Boston Herald, where, players just – how many times has he referenced guys being late and guys being rude to support staff, again, yesterday and today? And so I think there probably was a real issue with culture and players buying in, and Mayo gave the players a lot of power, and, he gave them an inch, they took a mile. And so I think Vrabel's here to walk some of that back. And I think him referencing that over and over and over again is a nod to how bad it was with the players last year. I don't think they were on time. I don't think they were polite. I don't think they were listening.
Sometimes they just got to know their place.
Kalani Tavai, front of the list.
I don't think that guy's going to be here. I mean, they have a lot to clean house. I mean, they have a lot of guys under contract. Elliot Wolf did a great job at re-signing all the guys that were on the previous 4-win team.
Such a good job.
So they have a pile of guys that were on back-to-back 4-win teams. And that's why I do think it was pretty funny when Vrabel was asked about what kind of players he wants, and he's like, at the press conference, he got a little inside joke with me and Elliot, but good players. So I'm sure like the first thing he said to him, he's like, what changes do you want to make? Like, what kind of players do you want? He's like, good ones.
Yeah, stop drafting the sucky ones.
Yeah, not these ones. Why'd you sign this guy? Why'd you re-sign that guy? Why did you draft this guy? Like, he has a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm okay with players who can be a bit of an issue. This is what you were referencing before. You treat A.J. Brown different than, player X.
You want to read a book? Read a book.
You treat Drake May different than you treat Joe Cardona, okay? What I don't want is sucky players who also have bad attitudes. I can deal with a really talented player and a borderline attitude. We were talking off air about
a couple, right?
Yeah.
Like you have 53 guys. They're not all going to be like choir boys.
Perfect.
You have a couple guys that are like maniacs. Fine.
We were talking off air about George Pickens. George Pickens sounds like he's going to be available this year.
Maniac.
Like,
I'd take
is
him.
that worth the risk? I'm willing to listen on players like that.
Yep.
You can't have sucky players with bad attitude.
No.
And that's what they had last year. So Vrabel's here to clean some of that
Tough
up.
combo.